here's the quiz link. I can also text this to everybody. It's bit.ly/2020 Phantom Quiz. And again, it's just going to ask for your name and 4 multiple choice questions. Most of them are true and false. I think one question's like, I'm allowed to have matches in the booth, true or false. So again, not meant to like really be anything tricky, but just showing the fire department that we did do some training, because I can't have you guys sign the packet because I personally don't have it. So the way that I'm going to do tonight is I'm actually going to start off with what's new, and then I'm just going to blast through kind of the repeat stuff, because you guys have been involved with fireworks for the last couple of years, so I don't want to hold you guys up any longer. So the first thing I really want to talk about is I talked to a lot of parents before we even agreed to do the fireworks booth. Just about a month ago, we had no idea where we were going to be with COVID, but we had an overwhelming response that we should do the booth. That way we have to keep our location for next year. So here's the alterations that I made to our operations just regarding COVID. So the very first thing is, normally we do like 2 to 3 hour shifts. I've actually revamped that. I have 1 hour shifts now. People can definitely sign up for more than 1 hour at a time if they choose. But what the idea was behind there is, if somebody wants to sign up for 2 hours, maybe go home for an hour or two so they can use the restroom at home, or eat food at home and kind of have that opportunity to kind of relax, they can come back later. So the idea was just to provide more flexibility in your schedule. The second thing is, we normally have our product flyer that people come up and they say, hey, can I see your flyer? They look at it and they hand it back. We will be laminating those. That way we can just kind of spray it down and sanitize it after each customer. The only really high touch point items I can really think of, because a lot of it's just like wood and plywood, but the register, the kids touch those a lot. We have some drawers that the kids touch. So we'll just be wiping those down pretty frequently. I've been stocking up on cleaning supplies the last couple months, kind of prepping for this. And then I'm actually gonna be doing less volunteers per shift. Normally I have the kids sign up to come during the day. They normally hang out and they play Uno. I'm eliminating that. I'm just trying to prevent overcrowding. Normally fireworks booth is a little bit more social, where we can kind of come and hang out during the slow times. But just with everything going on, I'm kind of really limiting the amount of volunteers that we have. The most we'll have is obviously on the 4th, because that's when we're the busiest and we need to rotate. And then the last thing is, or for this slide, is we do have an online store, and I can send you the link. It's not quite done, it's almost done, but we do have an online store. So I had a banner that was made, that's actually the box, or you guys can't see the box right now, but the box is behind me. We do have a banner advertising that people can basically do curbside pickup. I'll show you guys quickly at the end. I have a 1-page order form, so people can actually take a piece of paper and they can mark what their order is. They can take it home and mark it. They can go in their car where there's air conditioning and they can mark it, and they can bring up the form and we can fulfill it. They can text it to me. There's a phone number on there where they can just take a picture and send it in, or they can go online and do their order there as well. So I'm trying to give people more opportunities where they can kind of order from home and do curbside pickup versus come and stand in front of the booth and order that way. As far as our workers, there will be gloves available. Phantom gave us some gloves. However, the issue of cross-contamination exists with gloves, so I will have plenty of hand sanitizer available. We will also have masks. I have reusable masks that I will assign to each person, and people won't be sharing those. We'll mark them, and I'll make sure that they are disinfected every day. However, if you have your own mask, feel free to bring that. My policy on wearing masks is, if there's no customers and we're social distancing, I'm not going to force people to wear masks, because it is very hot outside. Wearing a mask can prohibit just your ability to breathe. However, I'm going to ask, if we are interacting with customers, that we put the mask on. So if there's customers, please put on the mask. If not, and you're kind of spread out a little bit, we're lucky enough that we do have a bigger booth than most people. So during those times, I don't think it's quite necessary to wear a mask. I'm actually afraid if kids wear masks all the time when it's very, very hot, they might hyperventilate. As far as operational pieces, so any questions real quick about kind of just like the health and safety aspect? Cool, awesome. As far as operations, because I personally did not attend an in-person fire department training like I normally do, they made me do a Google quiz, so that's what you guys are going to be doing. So that's how I'm going to mark that everybody has taken that quiz. I'm going to ask that everybody please take that by Wednesday. I've had a lot of kids that are over ambitious signing up for shifts, so I'm telling the teenagers, if you guys do not take that by Wednesday, I will basically kick you out of your shifts and allow other kids to sign up for those. So If you guys would be just so kind to do that, that's just one thing that I wouldn't have to deal with right before we kind of get started.
Question, do you want the parent and the student to take the quiz, or just the parent?
If both the parent and the student can take the quiz, that would be great, because the fire department requires that anybody who's in the booth go through the training and sign it. So like I said, it's literally going to take you 30 seconds. It's multiple choice, 4 questions. So if you fail it, we'll kind of chat about it, but I don't anticipate that.
Okay, gotcha.
Not that point number 2 is a big issue for you guys, because it's something I deal with. But if the fire department shows up and asks, the canopies have been a fight every year at the fire department, but this year we are allowed to have the canopy up against the booth like we have in previous years. Some years they say we can't have it. Some years they say we can have a canopy, but it has to be like 50 feet away. So this year we can have it, just can't be attached. I personally take care of that. But again, if the firefighter showed up and they ask you, just be aware. Here's the big kicker for this year. Everything in the booth, except for assortments, is going to be buy one, get one free. So smoke bombs, sparklers, fountains, everything is buy one, get one free. With previous years, it's the same thing. It's mix and match as long as it's of equal or lesser value. So just one thing that I'm going to ask adults, especially to help out with, because I've already messed up with training them, is just make sure that kids are only scanning the buy one firework and not the get one free. So for example, I was training kids the other day and I was like, hey, do you want one of these and one of these, or do you want 2 of these items? And they said 2, and I actually scanned it twice. So sometimes students, you know, they're hot, they're tired, they only do this a few hours a year. So just make sure that they're not scanning every single item, because our register is not a smart one like you have the grocery store. It can't comprehend when, you know, one's a BOGO. So just make sure that they're scanning half of the items. And like I said, the only exception will be the assortments. Those are still normal. And with coupons, which I'll actually go into right now. So there's a couple different coupons that we have. This one is the Phantomizer Club. So if you go to fireworks.com, you can sign up online and they send you an email with this one. So this promotion, if they spend $69 or more, they get the advertised free fountain. So I know one is Pixie Dust. I can't remember the name of the other one, but it will tell you this one says Vibrant Voltage. This is only one because they're not actually buying this firework. It's a free one. Let's say they spend $70 and they say, I want my Vibrant Voltage. They don't get 2 of these free ones. They only get 1 of those. And they can be combined with the other coupon I'm about to mention. But if you guys could, when we see these, we only have like 2 or 3 a year. We don't have very many. But if you guys can just include their email at the bottom and how much they spent. I don't necessarily need their address or their name. If I just have email and how much they spent, that's fantastic. And then I do have a Ziploc that you can place it in the fireworks booth, because we have to turn in all these coupons. So make sure you hold on to them. The second type of coupon that we have is the Red Plum promotion. So the coupon I just showed you, that one can be printed out because it's from email. This one comes in the mail, so it must be like the shiny, glossy copy. They can't give photocopies of this. I've never had that happen, but I just say it every year. This year it's different. Last year it was if they spent $50, they got an extra $15 of product. This year what it is all assortments are 50% off with this coupon. Full disclosure, I haven't actually seen the coupon in person. So I got to read what it actually says, but I've been told with this coupon, it's only good for 2 assortments. So they can't sit there and say, I'm going to buy 20 different assortments and I get 50% off. The max is 2. And again, please just include what their email is and then write down what assortment they actually purchased on the coupon. This one might be a little bit flexible because, again, they haven't actually shown me a picture of the coupon, but from what I'm told, it's 50% off. Quick disclaimer about this coupon, though. Before, we had a barcode on this coupon and we would scan it and it basically give people $15 off. Because it's 50% off, you can't really scan the assortment. It won't know. Again, it's not that smart of a register. So I will have a single sheet of paper that will be laminated, and it's going to have a bunch of barcodes on it, and it's going to tell you Chamber of Sparks, and there's going to be a barcode underneath, and the barcode will be for the 50% off. So if somebody gives you one of these coupons, instead of scanning the assortment, you're going to scan the piece of paper that says Chamber of Sparks, if that makes sense. That's the easiest way. Again, once we do it once or twice, I think it'll be relatively easy. Location, so that's kind of all the new stuff. If there's no other questions, I'm going to spend 30 seconds really just blasting through all the old stuff, just kind of refresher stuff. We are in the same location. We're at the Sunrise Food Mart, which is next to the AutoZone there where they have the car wash. So we're in the same location. Looks like this. You guys have been there before, so it shouldn't be new to anybody. Couple general guidelines. You have to be 16 years old to work in the booth and to also buy fireworks. We are a little bit flexible with kids working the booth just because we have some that are under 16, they hold signs. But you must be 16 years old at least to buy fireworks. So if we have a small child that comes up without a parent, we have to ask them to bring back an adult. And then I also must have an adult, that means 18 years or older, in the booth at all times. Normally we try to at least have 2 adults in the booth, so that way if one has to go use the restroom or run an errand, we're not leaving teenagers unattended. Some quick rules. People can't light fireworks off on the premises, so they do have to take them home. You know, let's not open more boxes than necessary. Normally we're pretty good about this. I just try to keep the booth organized. If you see trash laying around, I appreciate that you just pick it up and toss it. And again, this isn't so big of an issue because we have the register, but sell at listed prices. I've had people try to give discounts, and sometimes they give more of a discount than we'll actually make. So make sure we're just double checking. The one thing that I told the teenagers these last couple weeks is I have to program the register on the first day with all the pricing. So just double check when you scan something and make sure that the price that's coming up on the register is the same price that matches the price tag on the firework. Sometimes I make mistakes or I miss something, so just double check my work, and that would be appreciated. Some other guidelines, if somebody's under the drugs of alcohol or drugs, we can't sell to them. I've told the teens, if you see somebody and you're not sure and they're acting a little weird, just come get me. I don't want teenagers to be dealing with those situations. Right. We can't have lighters or matches in the booth at any time. So if you do have matches or lighters on you, please go put that outside the booth, in your car, or wherever. I do have people that ask us if we sell matches because they want to, you know, light their fireworks. So I just tell them, no, we have a lot of explosives, so that makes sense. I will say this is more for, well, this is for students and for parents. Students, please only come for your shift. A lot of times students show up just because they think it's fun, which is, I'm so happy that they're there, but it can get a little overcrowded. It can get a little tense. And then I'm also going to say that there's penalties for bailing. Because what happens is sometimes kids sign up for a lot of shifts early in the week, and then they're like, I've already done enough. I don't want to go the last few days, even though they've signed up. And then they leave everybody else hanging. And those are the busiest days. So, you know, unless there's like a big reason why they can't make it, please let me know as soon as possible. I will also say that this is a common problem is kids get very excited on working and they sign up all day for like the first 3 or 4 days. They overdo it and they overexert themselves, and then they get sick, and then they can't come the last day. So I don't restrict how often students can come, but I do ask parents just kind of look over their shifts and make sure, okay, like if my kid's going to be there all day for 4 days, they're probably going to get a little tired. They might get run down. They might get sick. So just be on the lookout for that. I will also say that, you know, we do have some snacks. We definitely have waters, but if students are, oh, sorry, my bad. If they're there all day, please make sure that they have some money for food, because I can't be responsible for feeding all these kids. And then I also can't be responsible for transportation just because I have to stay at the booth. So a lot of times kids ask like, hey, can I get a ride? I can't leave the booth. Everyone must still sign the fire department safety handout. I will eventually get one. So when you do show up, even though you take the quiz, please sign that. A couple other quick things, just please keep exits and aisles clear. You know, if people are like blocking the doorway or sitting right in front of it, we try to move out of the way. Try to avoid overcrowding when possible. I tried to do that with scheduling, but we do have a canopy. We do have lots of water. So sometimes, you know, we ask people to rotate sitting outside in the shade. And then again, one more time, I just have to have at least an adult that's 18 years or older in the booth at all times. Being a good tenant, we've been at this spot for probably about 8 years, so we built some good relationship. So if we see a lot of trash just around our area, I just ask that we spend maybe just 2 minutes picking up trash around. Normally I ask the kids, hey, let's all go outside and pick it up for 30 seconds, and it doesn't take very long. Again, not for this group, probably more so for me, but let's try not to fill up dumpsters. If we have trash, if the trash can's full, we put the trash in the truck, and we fill up my parents' dumpster every night, if we're being honest. Try not to fill up parking. If you see that parking's really full, if we can park on the side street, there's some parking there, just so we don't disrupt the business. And I did tell the teens this, and I asked the adults to back me up. I'm only going to allow one teen into the gas station at a time. Because what happens, and it's not necessarily a teenager's fault, but when you have 3 or 4 teenagers going into a gas station at a given time, normally people are thinking, oh, they're gonna be loud or they're gonna start trouble. So we're just gonna send in one student at a time. It also prevents students from spending too much time just kind of goofing off in the gas station. Some distances that we need from the booth. Mainly the one that you guys need to know is vehicles have to be at least 15 feet away. We do have cones that we put around, but again, if you guys see a car it happens at least once a year, somebody parks extremely close to the booth, we just ask, hey, can you move your car just a few feet over? We can't have cars that are that close to the booth. The trailers, generators, this is on me. I just have to make sure it's 25 feet away. The only one that you guys probably need to know for the 50-foot distance is there's no smoking within 50 feet. So if people come up to the booth and they're smoking, we just ask like, hey, can you go finish that away from the booth, or can you put it out because we can't have smoking at the booth. And there are signs that say no smoking as well. Some cash management, some of this has changed with registers. But again, if somebody wants to buy a chamber of sparks for $40 or it's $39.99, I normally just try to round up if possible. For those that are working the register, don't let cash accumulate. So if you see a bunch of cash in the register, let me know so we can go do a money drop. Don't change prices. I've had people try to do that, and we do not accept checks. Again, this is more for the adults because normally you guys are kind of the bouncers and helping supervise. One thing that I've told the teenagers is to count the money when you receive it and count the money when you give it back. So if somebody hands you, several 20s, count it $20, $40, $60, because people see teenagers and they expect them not to pay attention. So sometimes, if the person owes $50, they give the student $40 hoping that they don't notice that they shorted them. So I told teens that they have to count the money when you receive it. And teens are also, again, the money when it gets in the register, it gets sticky or it's hot. Sometimes they give too much change back. So I told teenagers, if you guys are not counting the cash when you receive it and give it back, I will give them fair warning, but they can't work the register if they aren't counting the cash, because that's just been a pretty big problem in the last couple of years. You guys know that we have cash registers. We do have 2. So we are able to scan product. That makes it really easy. I will have step-by-step instructions. We will be practicing on the register this Wednesday, and Logan's going to be practicing with the kids on Sunday. So they've been really good. They've been practicing for the last couple of weeks. They can actually teach each other now. So I can practice with students when they show up, and it's like riding a bike. They pick it up pretty quick. We don't have receipt options available for our registers. They're pretty old and they don't work. Credit cards, I can show you guys in the booth when you guys show up, but we do have a chip reader machine that connects to an app on your phone or tablet. We do accept MasterCard, Visa, Discover. The only thing we do not accept is American Express. There is a $1 transaction fee. So we just ask people like, hey, if they choose credit, there's a $1 transaction fee. Is that okay? If somebody asks for a return, we never give cash back for a credit card return, but again, just see me if that does happen. And then please check ID for any purchase that's $20 or more. And please ask that everybody sign on the tablet. We'll have a thing where people can sign it. And we'll wipe our tablets and phones after each customer as well. Counterfeit money, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this because I'd rather show you guys, but just double check for the watermark. I do have a little device, a light, that will actually light up the watermark so you can make sure it's the right president. It also has a line. So if it's a $100 bill like this one, you can actually see on the left-hand side, there's a dark line going through the side. And it will line up with this light. Again, it's kind of hard to describe, but I can show you guys. I showed the kids this morning and they got it really, really quick. So we do have a counterfeit bill scanner. And that's just a sign. I'll have that, just kind of a fun fact about counterfeit money. Some other tips, when we see customers come up, please stand and greet them. The caveat is only one person stand and greet them. So if we have 6 people in the booth and one person walks up, if 6 people stand up, that's a bit intimidating. So just one person needs to stand up. And we don't want to be super pushy, let people browse. We don't want to be pushy car salesmen. Tell them your favorite firework. Some of you guys don't know what your favorite firework is. Make it up. It's okay. You know, always suggest maybe a grand finale, like, hey, this fountain's really cool to kind of end the night. You can tell them what the fundraiser's for. It is not for camp this year, but it's still for, you know, for teenagers and the different activities that they do with our church. And then you can always recommend an assortment, like, hey, get an assortment, and then everything's buy one, get one. So you can actually get 2 fountains for the price of 1 is a pretty good sales tactic. If we're out of something, suggest something else. Sometimes we're replenishing stock. Sometimes they just don't have any left that we can even get. Maybe ask for their price range or what ages they're shopping for. Like, hey, are you shopping for little kids, teenagers, adults? That kind of helps. And then students, we kind of push them. It's their responsibility. We have like honk for fireworks signs. So I tell students that's their fun job. Some common problems. This is actually a night from July 4th that we had a couple years ago. You can actually see Sky inside the booth there. So it gets pretty darn crowded on the 4th of July. So we do discounts at the very, very end. Normally, to be honest, I just let Pastor do that because that's that's when he comes to life. No freebies. So people are like, hey, can I get a free box of sparklers? I just say like, hey, like we're raising money for kids. Like I can't be giving away free stuff. It steals from kids. If you guys notice that stuff is kind of hidden, like product, let me know and we can move product around just so it's more visible. Just double check for theft. And unfortunately, I have to say it's not just theft from customers, but also from people inside the booth. We've had people inside the booth try to take stuff. So let's keep each other honest and understocking. If you notice that we're out of something like Preston, you are amazing at going to the trailer and always restocking for me. So you guys can talk about that. But Preston's our runner. He likes to run out there and grab bunches of stuff for me. So if you guys notice like, hey, we're out of chamber of sparks or fireworks, just let me know so we can either go pick up more product or run to the camper or to the trailer and get some more. And just this is more fun fact. You guys can see how slow to how busy we get almost overnight. Last year we were only open for 4 days per the fire department rules. But you can see on the very first day in 2018, we made $500 the first day. But on the last day, we were making almost $20,000. So those first few days are going to be pretty slow. We might have 3 or 4 customers, so don't expect a lot of craziness. But you can see on July 3rd, we go from about $5,000 to $6,000 up to between $16,000 to $20,000. So thank you those who always work on the 4th with me. It's the kids say that's the most fun, but I also know that they're giving up their holiday. So that's my quick presentation. I'm going to go back, and again, I can kind of text people this as well, but I'm just going to give you guys the link to the quiz real quick. Again, 4 questions, 5 if you include your name, but it's bit.ly/, and that's going to be 2020 Phantom quiz, and that's Phantom as in Phantom Fireworks.
bit.ly/2020. Got it.
Phantom quiz, yeah. And I can text